Hi, it's Alicia Lyttle with the Digital Jampreneur, and in this episode, we're going to teach you how to set up your own domain name. That www.com, that's what we're going to show you how to set up. Let's go. Okay, so you want to build a website, but first you have to secure your domain name. My domain name, www.alicialyttle.com. My company, www.internetincomejamaica.com or www.powsocial.com. I have about 300 domain names for the various businesses, websites, and projects that I run, but I want to help you to set up your first domain name. So I want you to follow me as I go onto the computer and set up a domain name. Then you can go to the computer and set up your own. Now, there are hundreds of different places that you can set up your domain name at. For me, I have all of my domain names in two places with two companies. The first one is called Domain Diving, www.domaindiving.com, and that's the company that we're going to be using today. I also use another company called www.cheapdomainnames.com. So let's go ahead and head on over to Domain Diving. I'm going to go to the computer, follow me, and I'll show you how to set up a domain name. All right, I'm going to show you how to register a domain name. Right now, we're going to register the domain name, thedigitaljampreneur.com. It's important to make sure everything is spelled correctly and then press search. And then it is available. So I can now add different extensions, .us, .net, .org, and add other domain names. So I would also pick the Jampreneur. So I have the Digital Jampreneur, and the Jampreneur. So I'm going to add this to cart. So I'm adding these to cart because I know that these are the different ways that people might search for this domain name. They know the show's name is the Digital Jampreneur, but they're going to type in the Jampreneur or Digital Jampreneur without the in front of it. So now I'm looking at domain name privacy and protection. This privacy protection, this is basic privacy protection, and it doesn't cost anything. And then this is full domain privacy and protection. It protects against domain hijacking, other malicious transfers, prevents accidental domain loss due to an expired credit card and other billing failures. So I keep the full domain privacy and protection. You don't need the ultimate domain privacy and protection. And then let me move on to continue to cart. Now I'm going to review everything. It says the Digital Jampreneur.com registration. I'm going to register it for 2 years. Domain privacy, this one 2 years. Domain privacy, this one 2 years. Domain privacy. If the bill is too high for you, what you could do is move it from 2 years down to 1 year, and you see that it becomes cheaper just at 1 year, right? So you can see it becomes cheaper. And then if you need to take off domain privacy and protection and add it later, you can do that as well. Then you would just set up create an account, click next, and you would complete your purchase. That's how simple it is to register a domain name. So when we announced that we were doing this episode, we had some questions come in. So let me answer some of the questions that came in. The first question was, should I register a .com, a .org, a .co, a .live, a .info? There are a lot of different extensions that you can register. I would always recommend starting off with the .com, and then you can also get your .co and your .info. Now, an exception to that rule is if you're actually an organization, you might want to register your .org, and if the .com isn't available, it's not such a big deal. But the average person, when typing in www. A business name, a company name, or your name, will enter .com. That's why I always recommend, if available, you get the .com. So that leads to the next question. What if I can't get my name or my company name, as in you go to register it and it's not available. So for an example, my name is Alicia Lyttle. And if alicialyttle.com was taken, it's not, I got it. But if it was taken, then I would add something to the end, like alicialittlelive.com or alicialittlеonline.com. So I would add something to the end of my name that made sense. So if it's for a business or your name, just think of adding something to the end that would make sense and not take away from the name that you want, but add something to it. It's not uncommon that you might not find your name or your business name, so you might have to be creative with it. If you do find your name or your business name, I would encourage you to register it as quickly as possible so that no one else gets it. Now, if someone else does register your name and try to sell it to you, that's what we call domain squatting. And I've had to buy domain names for a lot of my customers in the past. So I recommend that if you have the opportunity to get your name or your company name now, then get it. All right, the next question. How long have domain names been around? Well, the domain name system was first implemented for use in January of 1985. I know, a long time ago, right? 1985. So the next question, should I have a domain name or should a business have a domain name? A lot of times people are uncertain, like, do I really need one? Should I really have one? Should my business really have one? Well, on the internet, your domain name is your unique identity. If you plan on having an online presence, you need a domain name and a website. If you have a business and you do not have your domain name and website, then oftentimes people don't think that you're really in business or serious about your business. Especially nowadays, businesses need to have their web presence. And in the next episode, I'm going to teach you how to build a website along with my sister Lorette. Now that you have your domain name from this episode, we'll go ahead and build a website in the next episode. Well, that's it for the questions. If you have any more questions, reach out to me on social media and I'll be happy to answer those questions for you. All right, well, that wasn't so hard, was it? You should have your domain name for your name if it's available. Like I have alicialittle.com. Go ahead and check out my website. Or you should add something to the end of that domain name if your name is taken. For example, alicialittlelive.com or alicialittleonline.com. And then you should also secure the domain names for your companies, like I did, internetincomejamaica.com and powsocial.com. So secure your domain names and then you can build a website in the future. In a future episode of the Digital Jampreneur, we'll be building a website. So stay tuned. If you want to catch this episode again or other episodes of the Digital Jampreneur, head on over to internetincomejamaica.com. Click on the Digital Jampreneur and you can find other episodes there. See ya next time.